Shanyin followed the boy home to find a blue door. He suspected it was the new mystery game entrance and rushed to check. But unexpectedly, with a casual glance out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of something astonishing. And just at that moment, the professor used the code 4237 to unlock Zionier's house door, while the old boxing champion happened to arrive at a super trampoline gathering held in a humble shack settlement. Suddenly, he heard a girl crying from the basement. He opened the window but saw nothing, as if in a hiding game. Feeling helpless, he used his camera flash to search and finally spotted a girl who looked like a mutant monster in the corner. Just then, she suddenly glanced toward the door, and as the camera turned, a girl was standing at the door. It felt like a classic "We've been looking for you" commercial. When he woke up tied in the basement, it didn't scare him. He comforted the girl and easily freed himself with a broken bottle. Just then, a voice from outside shouted, "Guard the treasure." Through the chatter, the man realized the girl was a kidnapped child. Now discovered they could only make her disappear. To prevent further harm, the man broke the window, aiming to send her away first. But the noise alerted the guards. He hurriedly blocked the door, pushed the cupboard, urging the girl to flee. However, even standing on the cupboard, the girl was still far from the window. When the man thought escape was impossible, a lady suddenly appeared outside, and we won't question her timing. With Shanyin's help, the girl quickly escaped, and the man could finally fight back. But surprisingly, the couple was taken away by the police for human trafficking and abuse. The man understood why Shanyin appeared on time. She saw the Halloween ghost in the mirror first. Like everyone, she wanted to flee, but the mirror boy followed her everywhere until she recalled the man's words. She then realized the boy always pointed to the basement window. It turned out she was his sister, and her wish was fulfilled. She could finally leave without worry. Is everything over now? Not quite. This part hasn't ended, and that part still has a waste. No, that's correct. Shanyin carries something extraordinary. He quit boxing for her. He turned to Foucault to investigate Shanyin's possession. The next day, he visited her mother, asking about recent encounters with ancient items. The mother suddenly remembered the relic left with Shanyin by her deceased husband. Is it the red artifact? Seeing the headband, the professor instantly felt hostility. Upon learning the headband was left at the old house, she immediately wanted to go. However, she didn't know Shanyin's grandmother was there at that moment. Discovered her son's investigation records about the headband. She flipped through it, and Shanyin, preparing to sign in the city, was instantly frozen. When she bent down to pick up a dropped pen, she shockingly found her other hand had turned into her left hand. The girl went to the roadside to look in a mirror, only to see a bizarre shadow in the reflection. The reflection seemed normal, but what chilled her was the mirror turning black, with another her inside. Everything returned to normal, but when she thought it was a hallucination, she saw the mirror's shadow had vanished in horror. At that moment, she saw the shadow's view leading to her grandmother's, as if guiding her. Meanwhile, the professor searched for the headband, knocked on her grandmother's door. Seeing the headband, she excitedly recognized it as her mother's. When she was only 12, she witnessed her mother's strange behavior before her passing. Her mother had, in a desperate attempt to prevent her son from sharing the same fate, used her last bit of strength to try to burn the headband. It was unfortunate that now there were scorch marks on this very item. Just then, the doorbell rang. The grandmother opened the door and got it, finding her granddaughter Shanyin. Her eerie expression showed she was the mirror's shadow. The real Shanyin had just got off the bus. Seeing the evil spirit shadow, the professor chased it, but was too late. The grandmother met the same fate, and even though Shanyin rushed there closely afterward, she couldn't change the grim reality. Soon, the fire truck extinguished the flames, but when Shanyin saw yet another person fall victim because of her mental defenses shattered. She walked to the road like a zombie, thinking her death alone would vanquish the possessing evil spirit. But at the last moment, the professor saved her and took her home to prevent foolishness. The professor explained that the space-out phenomenon had existed since 1995, when she was just a child attending her father's funeral. Her mother took her to remote woods, drawing strange symbols along the way. Back then, she didn't realize her mother was trying to get rid of the evil spirit until one night, the sound of knocking woke her up. She opened the hotel door unguardedly, and after that night, the phenomenon of spacing out completely vanished. The professor has investigated the space out for years, but still doesn't know the evil spirit's identity, origin, or malice. At this point, Shanyin suddenly remembered. At her grandmother's, she saw a notebook through an evil spirit's perspective, which tried to burn it. Relying on memory, Shanyin swiftly sketched the illustrations. One of the place names on it immediately caught the professor's attention to Changjingli. Just then, the scene shifted to Changjingli in 1950. A shaman gathered all the village girls under a tree, holding the very headband. The scene shifted again, and the shaman placed a bowl of raw meat in front of one of the girls. At the moment the girls stepped forward to eat, there was a terrifying ancient custom in Korea. Any underage child deemed a demon could not enter the family register, and was thus ineligible for burial. Parents could only put them in a jar. They would tie them up with hemp rope and hang them from a big tree in the wilderness until the rope broke, leaving no trace of their existence. Trees so hung for years were called hang-sick trees, with no one living nearby until it became a university town. The hanging dead trees were then uprooted, and dorms were built on top of them. One day, Shanyin and the professor followed the clues of the headband. Little did they know, as soon as the professor looked up, he froze in place. Shanyin felt a sense of inexplicable fear and brought out a mirror, only to see something that sent chills down her spine. A thick tree branch bore the weight of numerous corpses, with a neatly tied noose, as if it was waiting for her command. Without time to ponder, the two hurried upstairs, looking for someone who also lived on the third floor. However, the situation on that floor was the ceiling was covered in branches. They encountered Detective Yu Chen on the third floor. Since the dawn's completion, deaths occurred, all ruled suicides.